Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope you will be safe at your home with your loved ones. Today we'll revise the second part of the epidemiology. First part we have already revised, like definition epidemiology, uses of epidemiology, and various types of rates, time, place, and person distribution, difference between incidence and prevalence rate, that we have already discussed. Various types of the epidemics. Today we'll discuss the very, very important part of the epidemiology, which are study designs. Study design is not only important from examination point of view. Definitely you get one SCQ every year as a university questions from study design. You have to identify the study design, you have to calculate the measures of association, and you have to interpret that measure of association. So that is important. Moreover, in your practical life, once you start doing research, whether in post-graduation, FCPS or PLAB, or you go to United States for USMLE, definitely you will need you will be doing the research, and if you're doing the research, you have to decide which type of study design you will employ in that research. So that is very, very important, study designs. So we can this we have already discussed, part one, definition, uses, difference between incidence, prevalence, various mortality rates, crude death rate, specific death rate, case fatality, proportion mortality, survivor, standardized rates, and time, place, and persons distribution. We have already discussed short-term fluctuation, epidemic, periodic fluctuation, seasonal trends, cycling, long-term secular trends. This we have already discussed. And today we'll discuss the second part, epidemiology study designs. And then if we have time, what is association? What are various types of association? There are three types of association: spurious, indirect, and direct association. And then what is the criteria of association? When the Bradford-Hill, this is also called the Bradford-Hill criteria of association, when the association become causation. So you have to, when these are six criteria: temporal association, strength of association, specificity, consistency, biological plausibility, coherence of association. This we will discuss in the third part. So study design, we will discuss, inshallah, what are the, how will you classify the study designs, and then what are the study designs. This we will discuss, inshallah. You can classify the study design in various ways. One is you decide whether you are giving some intervention in your study design. If you are giving intervention, it is yes, then it is experimental study. And if you are not giving intervention, then it's observation study. In the observation study, naturally, then you have to decide whether you are using comparison group, or you are just to describe the study by time, place, and person. If you are not using the comparison group, you are simply doing the survey, case report, case series, then it is descriptive study. If you are using the comparative group, then it is analytical study. And in the analytical study, you see whether there is association between risk factor and disease. If there is association, what is the strength of association? Now, according to direction, you can classify this analytical study into three types: cohort study, where you go from exposure to the outcome, and then the cross-section study, comparative cross-section study, when you use the cross-section of population and exposure and the outcome are measured at the same time. For example, maybe exposure may be this, for example, high salt intake, and outcome may be high blood pressure. The obesity may be exposure risk factor, and the hypertension may be outcome. And in case control study, where the cases and controls have already occurred, and you ask the questions, you take cases and control, you ask the question about their past exposure. So from outcome, you go to the exposure. So this is the according to three types of analytical studies according to direction. Then if you are giving intervention, if the intervention is yes, then of course it is called experimental study. And in the experimental study, if you, again, there are two types. If you are randomized, dividing the two groups randomizedly by using a technique of statistical technique randomization, then of course it is called randomized control trial. If you are not using this randomized control trial, you are not applying randomization, or randomization missing, then it's called non-randomized control trial. It is also called the Quissy experimental study. I think this is the best classification and simple classification of the various types of studies. It's another classification that's almost same. Then of course, this we have already discussed, non-intervention, intervention, and the descriptive studies. There are case report, case report, case series, cross-sectional study, prevalence study, longitudinal studies. You just describe the disease by time, place, and person. You are not utilizing usually comparative groups. Case report, not when there is an interesting case. And these are 6 procedures in descriptive studies. You define the population from on which you want to carry out the study, and you define the disease which you are studying. And of course, to describe the disease by time, place, and person. Time, you make the epidemic curve. Place, you make the spot map. In person characteristics, you note whether it is male, female, young, old. Then, of course, you measure the disease by various morbidity and mortality rates. Then you compare with the known rates. Then you formulate the target. So this is a descriptive study that you just formulating the hypothesis. They are not testing the hypothesis. For testing, you have to use the analytical study, case control, part study, a comparative cross-section study. Correlation studies is also one type of, some people place it in the descriptive, some say no, it is analytical study. This is at population level, unit of analysis, population. It is also called correlation study, ecological study. When, for example, in some country, if the rate of alcohol is increasing, the rate of cirrhosis liver is also increasing. So already data is there, you have to use it. It is country level study. For example, coronary heart disease and serum cholesterol, association with quantity of salt intake, esophageal cancer. Strength of association you can measure by the correlation coefficient, which varies from +1 to -1 and 0. Weak association, if there is 0 to ±0.5 coefficient correlation. Positive correlation when one is increased, the other is also salt intake, blood pressure, meat consumption, and colon cancer. Similar negative correlation, one thing is increasing, other decreasing, of cigarette consumption and life expectancy. You can also display it with the scatter diagram. This is scatter diagram, relationship of the current salary and the education level. When the current salary is increasing, when the education level is increasing, you know the current salary is also increasing. The more you are qualified, the more you get the salary. This type of graph, these type of graphs are usually show in the Viva. You must be able to identify R mean, 0 mean, no correlation. This is imperfect positive correlation. This is the perfect positive correlation. Case report, case series, one interesting case report, one number of cases, then it becomes case series. in this you only formulate hypothesis, and you do not use the comparative groups. So that is the disadvantage. Again, 23-year-old man with treatment resistant TB patient, local hospital with treatment resistant TB, and you can make it the case report. Sometimes medical students usually start their research by writing the case report. Long-term study in the observation repeated in the same population over a prolonged period of time by means of follow-up examination. This is called longitudinal. Analytical study, I have already told you that we see whether there is association with respect to disease. If there is association, what is the strength of association? So these two types are found. Strength of association we find in the cohort study by relative risk and in the case control study by odds ratio. You see whether exposure and disease are interlinked with each other. So these are three types: comparative cross-section, case control, cohort studies. Cross-section study, I already told you that single examination of cross-section population at one point in time in a defined population. For example, determination of coronary disease, heart disease, the level of serum cholesterol at the same time. You usually calculate prevalence of disease. It is also called snapshot of prevalence studies, and pretty quick, cheap. Weakness is a disadvantage, a demerit. Temporal relationship cannot be established. Whether cause came first, whether the outcome came first. For example, chicken egg dilemma often not called. In chicken and egg dilemma, you don't know whether chicken came first, whether egg came first. So there may be selection or response bias when the people who are selected may be different from those who have not been selected in the study. Case control study start with the people who have the disease, match with control that do not have the disease, look back and assess exposures. This is the schematic diagram, cases, you take cases, controls, and you ask about questions about their exposure of the risk factors. And distinct features, both the exposure outcome have already occurred before the start of study. The study proceeds backward from effect to cause, uses control group, a comparison group to support or refute the inference. Matching, usually in case control study, we do matching. Otherwise, there is a chance of the bias or confounding in this case control studies. You have to match the case and control with respect to age should be the almost same. There should be not much difference between the age. Age is the biggest confounding the epidemiology study. And then it may start your confounding. We are already discussed that the factor is the third factor, which is associated with exposure and disease and unequally distributed. And it is independent such association also respect of disease. If not controlled, it may distort your results. Age is the biggest confounding in the epidemiology. So gender should also be equally distributed in case of control, occupation, social status. This is designed 2 by 2 table. Analysis is usually done by odds ratio or cross product ratio. And this is the table ABC. ABC, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is the body of the table. A multiplied D divided by BC. This is the odds ratio, or the strength of association. It is very quick, inexpensive, usually used for the rare diseases, because if you use the cohort study of rare diseases, when you follow a 10-year, 20-year, you use a lot of resources. At the end, you find few cases. It will not be wasted resources. So case control study is good for the rare diseases. Cohort study is good for the rare exposures. Disadvantage, selection of proper control, very difficult because you have to match the control with respect to the age, gender, occupation status, occupation. And there are certain biases or systematic errors in the study. Memory or recall bias, selection bias, memory bias or recall bias. In cases, they recall, they remember their events more thoroughly as compared to the controls. Due to this, there is a bias in the study. Then validation of information from subject is difficult. Whatever case of control will you tell you, you have to trust on them. There is no method to verify whether they are giving correct information or wrong information. These are certain bias: memory, recall bias, selection bias, confounding bias, Bergsonian bias, rate of remission, related disease are different for various disease this may result also bias. Interview bias, if we know that cases, these are cases, he gave more time to the cases. Due to this, their bias may come. Exercise, you can see 400 subjects were enrolled in a study with a case control ratio 1 by 1. In 200 cases, 200 control. 60% cases were found to be smokers. 60% 400. You can see how much it comes. And then 40% in controls. Odd ratio interpret. Sometimes we say calculate, sometimes we ask what are the various measures of association. So very simple. Smokers, 200 controls, 200 cases. 60% cases 120, and controls 40%, 80, and then of course others you can find out, and then you A multiply D, 120 multiply 120 divided by BC. They also call cross product ratio, and 2.5 is the odd ratio. Then interpretation is lung cancer patients are 2.25 times more likely to be smokers as compared to because in the disease has already occurred. But in the cohort study, if you are interpreting relative risk, because disease occurs after follow-up, so you interpret that if this is a relative risk, you will say that the risk of lung cancer in smoker 2.5 times higher as compared to the non-smoker. But in this it is better you describe in this way. Cohort study begin with disease-free patients, classify patient exposed, non-exposed, and record outcomes in both groups, and compare outcome using relative risk. It is 3 types: prospective cohort study, retrospective cohort study, are also called historical study, from where we start from some past, from some occupation, or the urinary minor, then you come, you get history from that up to present, and then you do the study. And you can also take it in future, combined study. The selection of study subjects, these are steps: obtaining data and exposure, selection, comparison, follow-up, analysis. This is the schematic diagram, exposed, non-exposed, and then measure the outcome. Strength, it is gives incidence data, help to find out the relative risk, attributed risk, establish time sequence of a casualty, because start from exposure to outcome, follow up 10 years, 20 years. So temporality, which is important criteria for these association, you can find out in this. Other outcomes you can also find out, because for example, if you are doing a study of the smoking and the heart disease, you can, smoking may also cause various type of cancer, lung cancer, etc. You can also find out other types of the outcomes in the study. Help to accept or refute a problem with high degree of validity, help to assess the dose-response relationship. Weakness, expensive study, lot of resources are required, lot of human subjects are required, a lot of logistics are required, and there is time consuming. Good for the rare diseases, that is unsuitable for investigating rare outcomes. Rare exposure is good for rare exposure, but not rare diseases. For rare disease, you will use the case control study. Ethics problems are also there, because you are deliberately kept under the influence of potential harm. For example, smoker, non-smoker, you will ask the keep on smoking because I have found out the outcome. This is somewhat unethical. Attrition problem is loss of follow-up. People usually leave the study before completion of study. Some people may die, some people may lose interest. So this is attrition. Attrition people lost to follow-up. Analysis, incidence rate of outcome exposed, and then estimation of risk, relative risk ratio, attributed risk difference. Relative risk is also called risk ratio. The incidence among exposed divided by incidence non-exposed. Attributed risk is also a risk difference. Incidence among exposed minus incidence exposed. And percentage incidence exposed minus incidence. And population attributed risk you can also calculate. This is relevant. Incidence among exposed divided by incidence non-exposed. The attributed risk percentage incidence among exposed. These two risks you have to know to calculate. Incidence exposed minus incidence unexposed, incidence divided by incidence exposed, multiply 100. So if relative risk is 1, it indicates no association. Then if it greater than 1, it's a positive association. Less than 1, then the exposure become protected. In 70, for example, 0.25 means 75% reduction in the incidence in exposed individuals compared with the non-exposed individuals. Attribute is the difference between incidence rate between in the exposed and non-exposed groups. And if you take in percentage, incidence of disease among exposed minus incidence non-exposed divided by 4 multiply 100. Attributes indicate to what extent disease under study can be attributed to exposure. For example, if 90% attributed is associated with smoking lung cancer, indicate 90% lung cancer is due to smoker due to smoking. This also states that the amount of that might be eliminated, effect under study could be controlled or eliminated. Population in this, you use the total population in your study incidence among total population minus non-exposed divided by non-exposed. For example, this is 2x2 table of this is for example, this is study orocarcinoma, June beetle leaf, 8,400 and individuals, 64 cases of the 51 exposed, two groups exposed 4,200, non-exposed 4,200. Most relevant measures here you have to calculate the attribute risk, relative risk, and attribute risk percentage. This is 2x2 table. You can make the data which you have given and then relative risk by using the formula incidence exposed. This is the incident 51 divided by 4,200, then 13 divided by 4,200 in non-exposed, and then it is for example it is 4 in people who chewed beetle leaf are 4 times at high risk to develop core cancer as compared to those who are not. Attribute percentage, this is formula incident exposed minus incident non-exposed divided incident exposed multiply 100. 75.5% mean 75% 5% oral cancer attribute to the beetle leaf, or we can say 75%, 74% of the oral cancer can be eliminated with smoking control. So this is these two types. When you are asked in the cohort study to calculate the measure of association, then of course you have to calculate both attribute risk and the relative risk, both attribute risk percentage and relative risk. This is population attribute risk. This is you can see in your private, in your spare time. And then experiment study when there is intervention. It is called experiment study. If there is randomization, it's called randomized control type. Non-randomization is called non-randomized efficient experimental trials. Randomized control trial has design has 6 steps. First, you develop protocol. Then to select the reference experimental population, then randomize it, divide in 2 groups, then do manipulate, do the intervention, then follow up, then assess the outcome. This is, for example, you are you are experimenting 2 diseases, 2 treatments. Then, of course, in new treatment, some people improve, and some people are not improve. And similarly, in the current treatment, or you can use placebo. Some people will improve, some people will not improve. Patient with breast cancer, for example, you can compare 2 techniques also. Not necessarily you compare the drugs only, you can compare 2 techniques also. For example, in breast cancer, some surgeon has used 2 techniques, and some patient radical mastectomy and some radical mastectomy limited resection. And of course, and he outcome was the recurrence of cancer. You can use also. Then there are 3 biases. There are 3 types. There are 3 types of bias in randomized control types. Subject bias, when the subject knows he is whether in treatment group or in the, then it may result in bias, because if he is treatment, even if he is not feeling better, he will say, I am feeling better. Observer bias, if the observer knows, it may also result in who is in treatment group, who is in control group, and similarly in the evaluation bias. So we can control bias by blinding. Single blinding, when the patient does not know whether in treatment group or control. Double blinding, when the patient and investigator both do not know. Triple blinding, when the patient and the data analyzer. All three do not know the treatment and about treatment and the placebo group or control group. So, there are two types. Some study design, randomized control, are further divided into concurrent parallel design, crossover type of study design. Concurrent parallel design comparison made between two randomly assigned groups. One group exposed to intervention, other group is not exposed. Patient remained in the study group or control group for the duration of study. This is crossover, another type of randomized control type. In this type of study, you randomized into two groups and you apply intervention. Then after some time, you withdraw the intervention and give washout period when the effects of drugs are washed out from the body. Then you switch over. The control becomes treatment group, treatment becomes control group, and then you assess. So these are the various steps. Each patient serves uncontrolled patient are randomly assigned to study control. Study group, we receive the treatment. The control group receives some placebo. The two groups are observed over time. This is also important. One time, once this also came as a university question, this crossover study design. You may get an ASPE also. When each group are taken off their medication placebo to allow for or elimination of medication from the body, this is called crossover effect or washout period. After the period of this washover, the two groups are switched. Those who receive the treatment under study are changed to the control group therapy of placebo and vice versa. So, for example, in this usually you may be asked to calculate vaccine efficacy. Out of 460 adults who took part in influenza vaccine trial, 240 got vaccine, 20 had a placebo. Under contact influenza, who 20 were vaccinated, 80 belong to. Comment on the value of vaccination, influenza prophylaxis. So when in this you have to calculate the vaccine efficacy. You often read in the books, this is the vaccine efficacy of the BCG is 80%, or this vaccine efficacy of typhoid is 90%. This is calculated like this. For example, he made one group, that's 240, he gave vaccine, another 220 were given placebo. And then he saw with the passage of time, the vaccine group, which was given influenza, vaccine group, the 20 people developed influenza, and 2 for 20 did not develop. In the placebo group, 80 developed and 140. So efficacy incidence among unexposed minus, definitely incidence among exposed will be higher, 80 divided by 220, minus incidence among vaccinated divided by incidence among unexposed, multiply 100. So in this way, you can calculate 77% vaccine efficacy. That is good efficacy, not bad. So you may be asked to calculate the vaccine efficacy. If you know the formula, it should not be problem. These are various types of study. There is a collegial study we have discussed, which is population groups. Problem is you cannot apply these results on the individual level. It may result in collegial falsity. Cross-section study, one point in time, measure prevalence. Temporality cannot be established. Case control study, of course, rare outcome. Disease recall and selection bias are the problem. Hard study, rare exposure, randomized control trial, gold standard for providing effect of intervention. Meta-analysis, when you statistical numerical results of other small study, you combine to increase the statistical power. Then association, what is association? Association is occurring two variables. More often that would be expected by chance. As causal factors must occur together with putative effect, X and Y. Association does not apply necessarily causal relationship. Statistical method alone cannot establish proof of causal association. So these are three types. Spurious means false association, not real association. Indirect association due to presence of third factor, for example, association of the this goiter, high altitude, and then the iodine deficiency. High altitude may be confounding. And similarly, direct association, one-to-one causal relationship, there will be multiple factorial causation, as in case of the heart disease. So these are criteria of association. If it is fulfilled, it's called Bradford-Hill criteria of association. Then of course, association becomes causation. If you can prove temporal, the cause must precede the disease. It's called temporal association. Strength of association, you calculate by relative risk and the odd ratio. Similarly, dose response relationship in smoking, increase number of cigarettes, there will be more mortality. And if there is consistency of finding repeated by different studies and same results come, is also very important. Biological to make the biological sense. Specificity of association, one-to-one relationship, coherence with known facts. For example, when this smoke increases in the males, lung cancer increases. When smoke increases in the females, then the breast cancer start increasing. This is called the coherence of association. Cessation of exposure, for example, if you stop smoking, if there is a reversal of the this harmful effect of the smoking. So after 15 years, the risk of the disease among the smokers and non-smokers become the same. So that's all for today. Thank you very much. And if you have any query or question, you may contact me through your WhatsApp group. Assignment for today, I have already uploaded. I have given you 2 days and you have to submit. Thank you very much. That's all.